a Flutter developer, and today I'll be taking on how to best make use of BuildContext in 2023. Alright, so before we dive into what we have today, what is the BuildContext? So the BuildContext in simple terms is just like something that stores the build information of a particular widget, and every widget in Flutter has a BuildContext that stores this information. So with the BuildContext, you can access build information as concerning a specific widget. Alright, so why do we need BuildContext? Basically, we need it for a lot of things. Navigation, for example, navigation and state management widgets basically make use of BuildContext. Most state management widgets, not all, most state management widgets, some make use of streams and others, but most make use of BuildContext. You have to be able to access the BuildContext to be able to, work well with the state management library. Alright, so why are we looking to BuildContext? It looks like the tiniest bit of thing in Flutter. Many people ignore it, we don't care about it, but you can actually make use of it in such a way that your project will be so organized and you have like a leverage of power. I mean, when I got this idea, I looked like a superhero. I could basically control anything navigation in my app so easily, and it's really like seamless for me. For example, I want to give you a scenario, a logical scenario, and I want you to relate with it. So take for example the normal way we navigate and we show pop-ups in Flutter is you pass the BuildContext to the function and basically run your code. And what I'm trying to bring to the table right now is you'll be able to access the BuildContext without passing it directly from the widget, which means you can just call the function show pop-up, show error, show success, and you don't need to pass a BuildContext to it. And this may seem a little bit little of what's the usefulness, but this becomes becomes massive by the time you look into a function that links to like 4 other functions. So take for example, you want to run a part, you have a particular function. Let's say the name of the function is reiterate. So, and what the function does is basically it uses another function underneath, and that function makes use of another one. That one makes use of another one. You have like 5 stacks of function on each other, and you're going to make use of the BuildContext in that last function. And so, what do you think you have to do? You have to pass in the BuildContext right from the first to the second to the third to the fourth, and basically the app starts to get the process starts to get what funny and inconvenient. It looks somehow as if you're repeating things, and there is possibility of making errors, right? And now what we are going to be doing today, we show you a way to be able to do this without having to pass your BuildContext from the first to the fifth. Instead, you just access it to the fifth. No biggie. So basically that's what we'll be doing today. And another importance of what we'll be doing today is that with this, people that make use of state management libraries like provider, which needs the BuildContext to run to be able to pass the data and access the data, you'll be able to access your data outside your widget code, outside your view, which means you can have a service class, and in the service class you have a function that needs a particular value you've passed to the provider. You just call your provider.off. Then you access the BuildContext easily without having to go back to your widget code. So I hope you understand what you stand to enjoy if you actually keen into this benefit. So let's step right into it. Enough of talking and more of coding. Alright, so basically we have the then when you create a new Flutter, basically this is what shows up. We're going to be editing the code very soon, but I want to explain how exactly we are going to be making use of the BuildContext. We are going to be making use of something called the navigator key. Now the navigator key is a parameter on the material app. Let me show you the navigator key. So we are going to be basically providing this navigator key, and from there we'll be able to access whatever we want to access. It's as simple as that. I mean, just a line of code makes a lot of difference. All right, so basically we need a navigator key, so we're going to create one. And now we'll not be creating one in the stateless widget or outside the stateless widget, because we won't be able to access it in all our other widgets. So what do? We create a new file, name it navigation services rather .dat, and then I misspelled that, magnificent, that. All right, so and we create a new class, the navigator class, or sorry, let's call it navigation services, and then I'm gonna make it calculated. And yeah, so this we basically hold all our, it has to do with handles. She's going to undo anything, all that handles, all that has to do with navigation. Yeah. All right, so and we cannot start coding. So firstly, we need a navigator key. Now the navigator key is a type of global key, and so we're going to be making use of the global key here. We're going to pass in it what the navigator state. That's the state we want to actually access. We're going to call it a so let's make it a static method. I want it to be accessible without any need to duplicate the class or call another instance. So the navigator key, we're going to call it navigator key, right? And we assign it a value on the global key, and that's basically it. This step has really changed a lot of things, and we're good to go. We want to make it a final instance. We don't want several keys running around at every point in time where we actually have to review the application and everything. So you have the navigator key here. So just going to come here and paste it here. So we just call this import the service, and yep, basically. So we've not really changed anything, and so next I want to remove some of this code. Specifically this class, I don't think we'll be needing my own page just created here. What we may need, the waiting dent here now. Just create house from scratch. Yeah, so remove my own page button. Then we create a stateless widget. This is this from the awesome snippet Flutter plugin for VS Code, and my home page. That's what I'm using to generate this home page. It makes things actually easier and faster a little bit. Yeah, it leads to some extents. So so we want a title, right, to differentiate the pages, and let's just go O, right. Okay, so let's make use of the double quotes for the text text widgets rather, and then we'll put this inside there. That's something problem. So the body, let's have the center widget, and let's the child to be a column. I'm going to be arranging several buttons there, and we see how things goes. I want it centralized, so I will have my main axis alignment. to main axis alignment to center. So we need a text button. Okay, let's use an elevated button. I think that will work better. And so we want to add something like a function. So let's copy this text, and we're going to say go to second page. Right. We'll be creating the second page shortly. So but before that, let's make things okay, and then let's try to see how the app looks right now. Okay, because I changed from a stateful widget to from a stateful widget to stateless widget. So it's showing that. So let me just restart. So why that is on ground, we need a second page, right? So how about we just create that now? Just have it at the second page. Right. I think it's done with what we started. Second page, and the neighbor nestor. Next up. So this is the second page. So we have the button go to page, like so. So it's going to be like kind of forward or reverse movements, just to showcase the navigator functions. So now let's go back to our navigation service. I want us to define some variables. We're going to define a build context variable. We're going to call it a current context, and let's make it a get function. And so we just return the navigator dot current context. And you notice something, that it's saying the value being returned is what is nullable. So we're going to just put the null of the conversion operator. While we're putting it there, basically we're putting it there since we know we've assigned the navigator key to our material. So it's not going to be returning a null value again. It's going to be returning the build context value we want. Another one I want us to take notice the navigator state. Now the navigator state makes this easier in the sense that let's call it the navigator state. In the sense that the navigator state, we're able to access functions like navigator dot push named any navigation function basically, without having to use the build context, and that makes our code a little bit shorter. We don't need to worry about the build context when we are navigating, and makes things really easy. Yeah. So, and this as well, we have to use the conversion operator. So we have it like so. So what else do we need to do? Okay, so it works nice. You can also decide to make use of the ungenerate root property to make like a more standard navigation. It's much better than just navigating anyhow. It gives you something like a focus, and it makes the app look well arranged and organized. But since we are just having two screens here and it's meant for demonstration, I won't be going into that. That will probably be in another video. Yeah, so now we need to put a function. In the normal sense, I should just come here and say, okay, navigator, right? Navigator dot of context dot push, right? But we're not going to be making use of this. Instead, we'll be making use of what? Something better. And what's that thing that is better? So, well, let's get into it. Basically, I'm going to create a service class. In the service class, this is going to be in the services file. So I'm going to create a class called the services. this is going to contain all our code, and you can see it like this, where you can see that we are separating our services, our controller codes from our view. And the only thing when we need it is just call the exact service we need without passing any unnecessary build context parameter. So basically the first one is go to second page. So let's define a function called static void go to second page, and you can customize this. Go to a particular page, you understand, go to second page, and then you just what's called this navigation services dot. We don't need to use the current, we can make use of the current context and navigate, but let's make use of the navigator state and just say push, right? It's asking for the root, so let me just use the material root, material page root, and let me pass in the needed. Okay, alright, so splitter to find this. Let me redo this. It's looking messy for some reason. Navigator dot push. Navigator dot push. So material page root. I'm going to be taking my chances again. So let's just have it this way. Sometimes autocomplete runs things. So I'm going to be returning the second page, right? And make it a constant. So we have it like so. And in the second page, we have go to first page, right? Go to first page. That will definitely be like a pop, right? So navigator state dot, we just call it pop, and yep. So now let's go back to this page and let's add the function. So we can just see the services dot what, go to second page. Now with this we're not, no build context is being passed, and this is going to work seamlessly. Yeah, it's very nice thing. So go to first page, and let's name this go to home page. Go to home page. I'm making use of my mobile phone. So alright, let's see if it's going to work, and then let's check it out. Nice, it's working, right? And seamless. Moving, should I start at the speed of Flutter? Yeah, basically. So it's no difference. Now this is even not the end. This is not the catch. There's still another there's still more to it, and I'm going to be adding another button that will say show success. Basically all this button will do, when you press it, it shows a pop-up. I know for a pop-up we will really need to make use of the build context, which is the major one of our major focus in today's video. So I'm going to go to services. Let me duplicate that. So I'm going to create a function called show success. Right, I'm going to put this as well in the first page. I'm going to call it show error, just to make sure they're different, understand. So let's just go to services. So let's have a function, right, show success. So basically we'll be using the show Cupertino dialog, I love Cupertino dialogues. They're always very sleek and nice looking. We need the context, right? So what do we do? And we don't want to pass it in, so let's just, what can we do about it? Then what we can do is get the context from the navigation services, right? So I'm going to just create a new static variable with context. Okay, manual lover get. So let's call it CMTX, and we just have the navigation services dot current context. So with this, we're able to pass in the context, and voila, it's working. So we just return the Cupertino alert dialog, and just have the title. Let's call it success. There's just be text widgets containing the word success. So success, and for the content, let's have UA, right? And for the actions, let's have the Cupertino dialog action, the context. So the child, this will be a text widget that says okay. Right, so alright, so that's for the success. For the error, something similar but only a slight difference, right? And we say not quite right, try again, and we say okay. Alright, so now we can easily access these functions. It's already fixed there, and we can run this down to check, and show error, and not quite right. Okay, so one more thing we forgot to add. Oh, sorry, let me go back into the app. I seem to have closed the app by mistake. Alright, so that was a mistake on my end. So okay, so it seems it closed the app, so let me just reload it, then it should come back to normal. Sorry, restart it. Okay, so one thing we forgot to do at the service screen is adding the action for this. So on press, so this should pop it, right? So we just put this navigation services to pop, and that should do the trick, right? Navigation services to pop. Okay, constant literal, I don't want that there, so we just get rid of the constant literal. Alright, so now it should work the way we want it to work. Sure. Okay, go to second page, show success, array, go to home page, and so you can combine several functions, do it anyhow, and basically you have a clean code. Now you're making use of provider, you can basically have a service file separate from your view files from your screens, and you can write your functions there, call to action, access a value, write a value, change the value, whatever you want to do with it, because you now have the build context at your fingertip. Basically, let's try something a little bit complex, not complex, but like a compound function. So you can say close and show success. So this we at first close it, so that is, you go to the home page, so you can just have something like this. And let's put this function at the okay, so I'll just duplicate this. Yeah, so it just how many minutes, how many seconds, and I can just say okay. So let's call this try something new, and let's reload it. All right, so it closes, so you can compound it, do anything with it, because you have an easy and quick access to your build context. So I hope you've been able to learn from this video. Please, if you have been able to learn something new, please like and subscribe. Also, you can share this video with your friends, other developers out there that you know needs this. And thank you. Happy coding.
I would appreciate it if you click on the notification bell as well. And alright, yeah, so you may be wondering what I used to display my phone's screen on my PC. Well, I made use of a terminal tool called Script CP. So the link to the tool is in the description of the video. Thank you very much. Bye.